What? You know what's crazy? It's episode 44. There's no second Dave today.
It feels
Where
weird.
is he, by the way?
He's in Chicago
Oh, yeah. I knew
for his regional vice president training,
Fancy.
which he could probably teach.
that. And we're going to Chicago. Me and the girls are gonna swap.
Are you flying to Chicago first? Oh,
Cedar Rapids.
you going to Cedar Rapids? I can get wild this weekend.
Yeah.
It's just me.
Party time.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on him. Girls.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be crazy. All right, so before we jump in with Ashley, the topic today, which I want you to stay for, is if your lead generation sucks, your results will suck.
How about that?
Pretty much. We're going to get a little aggressive to try to shake your frame and get you out of it and put a little bit of a mirror on what you're actually doing, your production. So stay tuned on that. But just like every good show, we have a sponsored by
Lawyer Steiner.
Ashley Remington. If you've been watching, you know Ashley's a convert.
I
She
am.
went to the other side.
The dark side.
You want to hear a quick joke?
Struggle is real. What's that? Yeah, of course I do.
Why don't Italians like Jehovah's Witnesses?
Can't imagine.
Italians don't like any witnesses. You thought, you're like, wait, is he really going to talk about religion? Is he really going to go there?
I know.
Oh, I got you a little
I thought you were
uncomfortable.
just going to say Italians don't like anyone, but I wasn't
Close.
prepared for witnesses.
No witnesses. So, lighten things up a little bit. So yeah, you're a convert. You were on one side,
Yeah,
and now you're on the other side.
I am.
So,
And it's interesting too. I think I'm in my 9th month now. So to go from starting in October
Mhm.
and going into the slow season, now we're in the busy season, and I remember that from my escrow desk. But it's so different, just how work is. Like in the slow season, you're sending out your thank you cards or your holiday cards, whatever it is, and you're doing all your marketing stuff, and you're prospecting, you're hitting it hard, you're setting out your goals for the new year. And then summertime comes and you get busy, and all of a sudden you're so focused on what you have closing that all that marketing stuff and prospecting goes out the window, So,
can I throw you a curveball? I'm gonna let you ask
Okay.
these questions. I'm a little ADD. I'm watching you talk, and I'm thinking, how the hell did you sit behind a desk? Because if you took a personality test, this is probably fits more of your, right?
Totally, yeah.
Did you go a little crazy behind
Every
it?
day. I was a caged animal.
That's right. It didn't seem a little bit. I'm like,
I've known Ashley since. I
We
don't
were
know.
like 25 when we met,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, I was
So-
21. I was 19 to 20 because I met him when I was 22.
Okay, so I don't want to date myself because I still think I'm 25, but it's been a long
It's been a
time.
minute.
you know,
Been a minute.
Angie and I have done this. There's so many personality tests out there. We just did one. We've done a million of them, but we did a handwriting.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So you just write, it's handwriting.com for anyone who's interested. You basically just write your handwriting, and everyone's like, oh, well, sometimes I write neat, and sometimes I write messy.
Doesn't
It does
matter.
not matter. And it's interesting because I was thinking the whole time, I was like, you are now in the position that you were meant for.
I think so too.
And I think
Yeah, you're a
personality test,
face-to-face person.
right?
Yeah. Totally.
And the funny thing is like I was never a numbers person,
Yeah.
So when I think about like, doing HUDs and settlement statements and like, I don't know what 3% of,
Yeah.
the sales price, I couldn't calculate that on my own. So to spend 20 years handling numbers, why didn't I do this 20 years ago? I was so afraid of like, I'm not a salesperson, but I'm a people person and I always
That's what-
loved
yeah.
relationships, so
You switched your frame.
Yeah.
Perspective.
totally.
Ah.
You're listening.
How about that?
Yeah.
Well, it's good because
You
you
think
bring
so?
up something else. A sales agent, the connotation, the meaning, everything about it, terrible. And it should be. Because
Yeah.
someone wants to be sold.
Nobody wants to be sold.
Nobody. So we've talked a long time about information agent, relationships,
Mhm.
caring more about what you do and the person you work with rather than the money. And listen, I'm not going to bullshit. The money matters too. I mean, it's
Well,
attached to the
That's
purpose.
why we do. I mean, everybody has to. I mean, you're not going to do it for fun.
It's almost
We
like,
gotta make a living.
Yeah.
but yeah, it is. But it's almost like keeping score,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Like I could love to play basketball, but as much as I love it, if there's not a score involved, it takes a little bit of the fun and the meaning out of the
totally.
process.
Any
Yeah, what's the
sport.
point?
That's why.
So
yeah.
making the money is more about the score,
Yeah.
but the love of the
And the
game Yes, the
Yeah.
love of the game is when you love the game. You see it in sports all the time. You can tell when someone's just there for the money
Mhm.
and someone just cares, and someone who really cares about the game.
Right.
And then you get both. That's the irony of it.
Mhm.
The more you care about the game, the more money you get. The more you care about the person, the more money you get. The
Mhm.
more you give, the more you receive. It's simple.
Mm-hmm.
Counterintuitive in some ways. The thing that you don't focus on is what you get.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. I saw that you have some questions. Am I going to put you on the spot with this?
Well, yeah, I wanted your opinion.
Okay.
You know, I'm still kind of getting my groove together with
Yeah.
this sales gig, and you know, I'm having a hard time with the word farming, because agents hear the word farming, they automatically think postcards, and you know, I did tried it once, spent a fortune, didn't get a single call, doesn't work for me. My opinion is, you know, when you're consistent with farming and branding yourself and calls, emails, then you know that should be the kind of new definition of farming. So
So you-
how would you?
You have your problem and your answer in your question.
You're right.
Okay? The problem is, you said it. Agents said they tried it once
Yeah.
and it didn't work.
Right.
That's problem number one. Imagine if everyone took that same frame of mind and applied it
And
to
took
dating.
no for an answer the first time they heard it.
You just cut me off. I
Yeah.
had a good point too.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Down.
Feel free. Was it that point?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's similar, but imagine they applied it to dating.
True.
Oh, didn't work. I'm done dating.
We would have been done dating.
Everyone would be done dating.
Oh wait, that's what happened to me. I'm done dating.
Dave and I got so bad at one point. We were spending so much time together when we first dated that we went to lunch and it was like awkward. We were like, all right, we're breaking all the rules. Like we
This
spent
really
way
has
too much
nothing-
time
This
together.
really has
I
nothing
know,
to
but
do
it's
with-
interesting.
Okay.
And then we go into the parking lot. We're at Pin Cow. We're in the parking lot and we're like, all right, bye, have a good life, like bye. And we work together too, so that was awkward. But and then like I think you called me.
No, no,
Yes,
no.
I think you called me after the
No,
day
no,
after.
no. You
I'm
didn't
pretty
even.
sure that
Oh, he
was
is
me.
never gonna fit
no.
it.
Yeah, he called.
Listen, I swear on my kid's life, you called me.
No, I
was
did
so
not.
proud of you.
Oh.
So basically, totally aside,
There's
But-
no way.
the
Yeah.
problem is in. It's the truth.
I don't
She
know.
is a great. Someone called her the Velvet Hammer yesterday.
Last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, my word.
So the first thing is they're saying it's a problem. The problem is I just tried it once.
Right.
That is the biggest bullshit excuse. I tried it once.
Yeah.
People succeed, try it 1,000 times, right? You're
Right.
never even gonna get good at it if you give it one attempt. And I think that's gonna kind of, I'm glad you set this up well. It's gonna play into our conversation today. But they just tried it once. The second part was the answer. And you said it again. Consistent branding, consistent farming.
Mm-hmm.
So they try it once, they haven't tried it multiple times, and the other thing is they didn't stay consistent, right?
Right.
You can't just turn it on and off. You have to turn it on and keep it on forever.
Yeah. That's my problem.
Forever.
With those things.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, statistically, they say you gotta reach people 7 to 10 times, or 7 to 12 times before they connect that you're a realtor marketing their neighborhood. So, is it the word farming that has the roadblock, or do
No.
we need to relabel it as lead generation?
No,
or
you're-
is it just
You're right, it is the word. I mean, you put, even weight loss, for instance, dating, they just repackage and they name it different things because
Mhm.
people just, that's not gonna work. It's
Mhm.
not gonna work. I like painting a picture, right? So instead of farming, you gotta look at it like, or explain what farming is. Planting seeds everywhere, okay?
Yeah.
And it's not just planting seeds in communities, planting seeds with relationships. I mean, if I was giving someone dating advice, I was like, you gotta plant a seed. That's not what I'm thinking, not what I'm talking about. A mental seed of, like, I'm interested or whatever. Yeah, we're not planting seeds.
I'm not on this
That's
one.
that's a different video for another time
Yeah.
of planting seeds.
Not drinking the water here.
But no, you have to plant seeds everywhere. And the interesting thing about farming, and it's just committing to a community,
Mm-hmm.
a way of doing business, and even relationships, right? So it's staying in front. Now, your results of your planting of seeds, it's like literally you're a farmer, right?
Right.
Some seeds will show fruit quickly, and then the plant will die out.
Mhm.
So let's say online leads,
Mhm.
right? Right? Quick, you plant a seed, some quick fruit, you get one piece of fruit, and then it doesn't bear anymore. Then there's some seeds that it takes a long time for it to grow. But when it does grow, it grows into a tremendous tree that can feed tons of people with lots of fruit. More relationship-based
It's
marketing.
about how you nurture.
Yes.
Can I just bring you with me on all my sales calls?
I've done this 1 or 2 times in my life.
Isn't that actually why they call it farming?
Yes.
Yeah.
But you gotta literally go to the root
Mhm.
and to explain it,
Uh-huh.
which I didn't mean for it to be upon the root of the tree, the root,
Yeah.
but in any issue, you have to stop thinking, oh, farming, yes, farming, whatever.
Mhm.
These things work, it's just people aren't committing to them,
Right.
right?
Where people give up. It's
See-
the gold. What's that story?
3 feet from gold.
Yeah, they give up right
Mhm.
before things start
so
to
true.
happen.
Exactly, that's a really good point. Right before your tree's supposed to bear fruit,
Mhm.
you stop watering it.
Yeah. Or
So,
just like me, I'm impatient.
yeah, most people
We
are,
all are,
Yeah.
yeah.
but
My
people,
handwriting test said it too.
yeah.
I know.
But all of my mentors, whether it's Gary Vee or Garrett, they all play the long game.
Yeah.
And the people that I see around me that are the most successful, my father,
Mhm.
it's the long game.
It is.
It's doing things now that won't pay off for
For a
a
while.
long time. But that game is the winning game. It's just you have to be willing to do a couple of things. One, you have to commit to doing it consistently over and over and over again. And the other one is you gotta have patience.
Right.
You know, and during that time, you may have to plant some seeds that are going to give you quick fruit, but don't take your eye off the ball.
Uh-huh.
And that's the main game.
Mhm.
So that's how I present farming.
I like it.
Yeah. And niche down.
Planting seeds.
Niche down, niche down, niche down. Now, your lead in, I'm assuming, is that you have multiple tools for
Of course
farming.
I do. Yeah. We're doing a bunch of classes right now. We have the developer of Dynamic Farm, which is our exclusive program for farming. And, you know, I've plugged it before for you guys and taught classes, but he's kind of going on tour for us and just helping to get the information out and I guess we can talk more about that another time. But it's helpful, you know, and it's not just the old Excel sheets and blasting blindly postcards out and doing it the old school way, you know.
Yeah, that's, what's the word? Spray and pray.
Yeah.
Spray and pray, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, and that's not relationship-based farming. So there's always like a couple different levels. And the beauty is the title companies, she has all the tools and the information and data, but you have to niche down.
Right.
Like you really have to say, I want these people. Even on like social media, you have to really target who you're going after. Because you can't, you're basically a prostitute if you're like, I serve everybody, right? And
Yeah.
that's not speaking to anyone.
No.
Right? Even with us, we're like, we want quality agents, we're only gonna take 500, we want people who are committed, we want aspirational agents who are doing like between 15 and 30 or plus transactions a year
Mhm.
and are committed to doing it the right way. By saying that, I'm eliminating hundreds if not thousands of people. But that's okay, because I know who I want to work with.
Exactly.
Same thing for you as a sales rep. Same thing for you as an agent. You got to tell the marketplace who you serve,
Right.
right? So you're going to deliver all that information for the agents. That's why you reach out to Ashley. And the agents, you have to reframe your mind to get to a point where like just dismissing farming and dismissing the way of doing things because you didn't commit. Not because it didn't work, you didn't commit.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you want me to pitch your stuff anymore?
No, I didn't
I was
wasn't even
just-
prepared for that. Stick to the script. No,
I'm just messing with you. Any other questions you got? I love questions that aren't scripted.
Mhm.
That's what I miss about being president the most. Is I hated scripted. I'm like, give me a question that's gonna get my mind moving.
Yeah.
You have another one or no? You're good.
I guess just what else could I do as a rep to support you guys, support the agents that, you know, when they are busy and they're just focused on, I have so many closings, or, you know, I just got back from vacation and there's so much going on, you know, they don't need me trying to pitch Dynamic Farm or let me get you an open house kit. They're just trying to stay on top of stuff. So what would you guys like to see from me?
So that's your answer. So just a little caveat, Angie's a top 100 realtor every single year out of 15,000 realtors.
Mm-hmm.
You're her rep, right?
Yeah.
Because you use Cara.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you looking for as far as support?
I don't know, because I'm that person that's calling you going, oh my God, I'm so busy, or I'm leaving on vacation. So part of it is the problem where I think having like, I think a lot of it is, you know, as agents, we're like inundated with like lenders and title and home warranty people, and it's like just every which way we turn, it's constant. And there's people calling us. I mean, my phone rings 50 times a day to sell me something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, like I don't know. I think it's a matter of sitting down with the people and like going over the specifics, because I don't even know what you offer. And I mean, I've been using Lawyer's Title for years, for over a decade. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you qualifying questions, because I
Okay.
know what you need, but I
Feel
wanted.
free. I want to learn too.
So number one,
Mm-hmm.
they want you when things are not going right,
Of course.
right? So just
Or every realtor has those times where we're like, I mean, it's a roller coaster constantly.
Sure.
I've been in the business for 13 years, and I'm still like super busy, and then I'm like, babe, like
Time to get busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like hitting those people at that point where it's like,
Uh-huh.
all right, I'm ready to gear up and get serious, which a
but
lot of
isn't
people.
closing the transaction more important than anything and dealing with the issue?
It is, but if agents like prioritize their time correctly, it's like I touch every single file I have every single day, no matter what. I could be in California or somewhere, but I'm checking in with my assistant, and I'm like every single file, whether it's an active listing, under contract, whatever it is. And I ask her 500 times, are HOA docs sent out, or HOA docs sent out, just to make sure we're not missing anything.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know.
The car is intuitive, and
No, I know, I'm saying with Sarah. Like, I
Okay.
touch base with her every day to make sure we're on point with everything. But I think it's a matter of helping agents also time block and say, look, like, if you're not prospecting now, you're not gonna have business in 3 months.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it has to be fairly consistent, which, again, it's still, I mean, summer is a busy time, but a lot of people travel during the summer. And they're out, and they wanna be with their kids, and they wanna spend time doing other things, and they don't wanna get serious, or they have kids that they have to deal with.
Yep.
Bringing them in the office, like right now. So it's just one of those things where I think catching them in the right time, helping them time block, showing them the tools,
Yeah.
but then like showing them, you know, because you know what would work for me, like it's kind of like the Buffini system, right? Like those.
I'm still waiting for an answer. I'm just.
Shut up. No, it's like the Buffini system where we get those flyers and send them out to my clients. There's no relation to like my clientele with those flyers. It's like you have to have the conversation with the agent first and find out some are in luxury, some are in, in that niche, and give them something specific to what they need. Because like if you're gonna send me a flyer, an open house flyer, guess what? I'm not interested.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna waste my time.
So to paraphrase, meet your clients, if your clients are agents, where they're at,
Right.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So it's gonna
And
require.
niche it down in that aspect too. You know what I mean? And give them, say, look, I don't want to show you the whole website and how to work it, because I don't necessarily have time for that. But if you have one tool for me for a luxury listing or something that I can put in place like almost immediately, then I'm ready to listen. You know what I mean? And I want it to be quick. I don't want to spend too much time. Like that's just me.
You're like velvet hammer right
well, that's
now.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
but I'm telling you the truth. Because
Well, no, and coming off the escrow desk, I had clients that were just loyal to me as an escrow officer and never wanted a sales rep.
Right.
So I get it, and then you've got but I also, now being on the sales side, like I want those, you're loyal to Cara whether I'm here or not.
Right.
So, but I want you to know you have that support. So, for the agents out there, like, how do I show that, like, I'm here and you have that support without, like, standing over you every time I'm, because I remember going around with my rep when I was on the desk and being like, this is so awkward, like, you
Yeah.
know, we're interrupting people while they're trying to work, and, you know,
Right.
like,
And we know that they don't want to talk to me right now.
yeah, and they
Or
give you
not
that
they
look,
wanna
like,
even
what do
talk to
you need?
Yeah, they just don't want to be, they're in the middle of something.
Yeah, and I don't want to be interrupted when I'm trying to focus or
Right.
work, you know, so it's just trying to figure out what that need is, what their pain point is, and how I can offer a solution without, like, hey, can I get, you know, an hour of your time or 15 minutes of your time, or, you know, because everybody's busy, so,
Totally.
you know, it's just trying to find, like, that perfect solution for
In
everybody.
that balance, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect solution.
There's not.
Yeah.
I think with someone with your big teams, it's going to be how can you take things off their plate. I mean, I know Angie's saying that right now, but I don't think a title company for a producing team or agent has to deliver like more ways to make money. I think it's more ways to juggle all their deals and take all those pressures off. So for instance, if I'm talking to you, Akara, I'm saying, how can my clients be taken care of at such a level that I don't have to repeat everything that you said
Right.
again and again and again? If I'm an agent that's doing under 10 transactions, then I'm gonna want you to lead me more,
Uh-huh.
because now it takes a village, right? So even though as you know, with us, we're probably giving them more support than any other brokerage, but
Uh-huh.
even then, they need help. They need direction.
Mhm.
So I'd have things in place to kind of educate them along the way, right? So, because they're so grateful, they're so new, or they haven't experienced getting past 5 or 10 deals,
Yeah.
right? So they're like a puppy looking around for help,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If I'm her or
Good
me,
point.
I'm like, hey, don't make my life harder, make it easier.
Right, you're a well-oiled machine. You want a well-oiled machine.
You got it. Like when I need you there, if not, don't break my chops.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I think a different agent, different story.
Uh-huh.
They want as many ideas and as much help and as much support. Things like farm.
Yeah.
Angie and other agents like that, they know, and they know they should be doing it, and they're already doing it, or they know they should be doubling down. So maybe it's a reminder,
Uh-huh.
and maybe you have a tool that can help them get there. That they probably have their systems in place already.
Right.
Mhm.
Even when we offer our agents are, you want to talk about well-oiled machines, some of our teams are like businesses under this business.
Absolutely.
So even when I'm offering them different things, they're like, I already got it set in place,
Yeah.
right? I don't want to mess with it. So I'm like, all right, any way I can help assist you in your direction, I'm in. For the other majority, I'm providing services that they can use because they don't have them in place to help bridge the gap of where they are to where we need them to go.
Yeah.
Right? So some people on your team, they could be so educational, informative, and walk them through the process, and just so that they're like, all right, now I got this, and they can train them a little bit more. And then you're building more relationships and more rapport and more trust that they'll stay with you forever.
Genius.
Good?
Planting those seeds.
Yeah,
Understand.
and not to mention, like, when you showed up at my open house when I was doing that, like, that gave us a chance to, like, actually sit and talk, like,
Yeah.
versus if you were just show up at the office when I'm, you know, on the phone and
Right.
juggling 100 things. I think finding people in those situations, too, gives you a better opportunity to actually sit down and have real conversations
Yeah.
versus just kind of being there in the middle of everything, in
Yeah.
the middle of the chaos, you know?
Because
in the
anytime you're in the
chaos.
office, that's where you're trying to put your head down
Right.
and focus, and everything's a distraction.
Right, exactly, so.
So,
Good advice, guys. Thanks.
so what's interesting is, this is exactly what we're talking about. So just pretend she's an agent. It's the same advice, right? If your lead gen sucks, your results suck, right? So
Yeah.
the first question was, what are your 4 main sources of lead generation, right? And your first one, overwhelmingly,
Should be.
relationships, sphere of influence, referrals,
Past
you know,
clients.
past clients. And it shouldn't just be like one of the 4. It should be 80% of your business. Your goal should be 80% of your business is seeds that you have planted all around you.
Yep.
And the reason why is you've already done the hard work.
Mhm.
There's a great saying, don't step over $1 to pick up a dime. Right? And I think most people do this. They're so focused on their next deal and getting that next deal in the escrow. They're not spending time taking care of the people around them.
Yeah.
Imagine we did this in life. Like we're so focused on making a new friend rather than take care of or spend time with the people that we love and our friends already,
Mm-hmm.
right? We would never go to our favorite restaurants. Imagine we're so focused on trying a new restaurant, rather than going to the restaurant that we love and know,
Mhm.
right? This is so simple, but it just,
It's hard to get disciplined in that aspect though, and I know because like I for a long time, you know, even when I had an old partnership, I was kind of trained that way where it's
Mhm.
like, okay, what's next,
Yeah.
what's next. So, you know, meeting him, he helped me a ton because he's like, hello, you know what I mean? You've closed 300 deals in 1 year. You should be able to, yeah, you have 300 people you could go back to.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But for me, it was like,
that already love you
yeah,
and like you and know you and trust
yeah.
you.
But in my brain, I was like, oh, you know, a lot of them had to do a short sale and that was a bad experience. But yet I was a support system for them, which I didn't realize. I thought because it wasn't a fun experience, they wanted nothing to do with me. Or they don't want to hear from me, or they don't want to be bothered. It's kind of like you don't want to necessarily bother agents,
Right.
but like if you don't, you're never gonna have those conversations. And it's
You
the
just
same
think
with-
it's more people, and it's the
Right.
masses that you're going after
Right.
instead of like
and
who
all it
already
takes
knows
is
and
those,
likes me.
yes, to grow the tree.
Best marketing you could do is your own people.
Agreed.
So let's use us for an example. This is the whole reason why we're limiting the amount of agents we're taking, right? If my father and I decided to spend all the money on that we spend on services and value and locations and support that we do on our agents, if we decided to take that money and put it towards marketing to get new agents, you have a whole different company,
Oh, totally.
right?
100%.
Right? So if I'm saying rather than build from within and taking care of the people who helped me got there, right? I'm gonna go spend it on new people,
Not to mention you'd be burnt out. Like
And
in a second.
babysitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then the relationships are so much different too,
Mm-hmm.
right? We walk around here and we take care of the people. We know their name. That's number one.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We know their story. We know their weaknesses. We know their strengths. We know their ups. We know their downs. We help the person.
Yeah.
To be able to help the person, different story, right? Like if
Mm-hmm.
so, what's interesting is we've never incentivized our agents to recruit for us, ever. You know what you get for recruiting an agent to Urban Nest? 0.
Thank you.
You don't get a free month, whatever. But if their experience is great, they're gonna do it
Anyways.
organically.
Yeah.
If your experience is great at a restaurant or with a service, a painter.
Yeah.
I mean, we just renovated our house. Half the people we work with, you know how much marketing they do? 0.
Yeah.
It's all word of mouth. So they're not even, some of the people I'm like, you should be asking referrals. I spent so much time with my painter, Julian. He's busier than he can even be. He's
Yeah.
all referral based. And he doesn't even ask for referrals.
Which is crazy because so many of our vendors, even like our dog groomer, is like, sorry, I'm not taking any more clients. Like he's that busy and he's like, I don't want to deal with it anymore.
Our, what's a children's doctor called? A pediatrician?
Nishihara. And he's picky about who he takes on, and he's
Really?
amazing, like amazing. But he's like, look, like for a long time, he was like, I don't want a new client unless they're gonna be on time, unless they're, you know,
Oh,
he had parameters. If you were
You
2
show up
minutes
late? oh,
yeah.
you're gone.
Wow.
But you know how many
But
people
he's a well-oiled machine, and I've never waited more than 3 minutes in his
Love
office.
it.
And
Who's-
it's the cleanest office I've ever been into.
He's make sure you wash your hands 100 times. His nurses are amazing. Imagine as a realtor you had your machine down to that. Like
That's what I was just thinking.
And literally, he's not taking like on any more clients. And Dave and I are like, oh, thank God we got him.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
exactly.
You know, which it makes it that much more.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he has do you think he has a hard time selling people when he's having a conversation like, I'm sorry, I can't take you,
Yeah, no.
and they have a
And then
waiting
we're
list?
like, I want to be in.
Then you can deliver amazing service and you can dictate
Yeah.
rather than just trying to do the cheapest. You know, again, back to the
Mhm.
prostitute model. So
And he can raise his standards at any point. People better show up or they get out.
Right.
Otherwise-
exactly, and people are proud and happy to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So again, I'm not against marketing and investing in yourself. That is required, and we do that. But you have to invest in your people first. The people that you've already taken care of.
Mhm.
And to take it past business, it becomes more of a rewarding experience too, because you build relationships with texture and you build your connections with people, and it becomes more fun
Mhm.
and more meaningful.
Mhm.
That's a reward, you
Yeah,
know,
totally.
seeing the finished result. That was my favorite part on the escrow desk was, you know, the home buyers that like never thought they would ever own a home and they're there at the closing table, you know, and
Mhm.
the sellers that are moving across the country to go be with their grandkids, whatever it is, you know, there's a reward in all of it.
Totally.
So you lit up on that. So to put meaning towards what you're doing, you can have two really main experiences. One, the Angie type, the team type. Wow, like I was able to efficiently help close all their transactions and take some pressure and some things off their plate. Right? That's reward number one. The other one is the before and after reward. I saw this agent before they were doing any business, before they really figured it out. And I was a small part of watching them go from here to here. Like that's a huge reward for us.
I
Right.
can't wait for that.
And you could be part of that process.
Yeah.
And it changes the game. So that's number one. That's 80%, which most people are not willing to do. Right? You could turn it off right now if you just do this, because people are like, all right, what's 2, 3, and 4?
Mhm.
Right? I'm hesitant to even put down 4 sources of lead gen.
Yeah.
Because people will jump to the one that they find the most comfortable and they think's the easiest.
Sure.
Right? But you have to focus on this one.
Mhm.
I make 5 phone calls a day. Bullshit. Bullshit. You
yeah.
don't.
Or are they meaningful phone calls in the first place?
Exactly. And like, oh, what do I say? Just be a human being, like you care. Hey, it's Dave. How you doing? How's the house? What's going on with your life? How's the daughter? How's soccer? I mean, you sold them a house. You should know something about them,
Anything.
right?
And get on Facebook and love.
Right.
And care. There are so many systems out there, from Buffini to the Ninja coaching system to, I mean, literally it's endless.
Right.
How much is relationship based?
Yeah.
And then listen, you don't have to say you're by referral only, or if you know anybody. Oh, by the way, you know, you don't have to use that wording.
Mhm.
Use something that feels comfortable to you. Like, hey, I just want to let you know, I prefer to work with people I know, and I know you. So if you know anybody, just don't forget to put up my name. I'd appreciate it. That's all. I'm not working with everybody, and there's only a limited amount of people I help a year.
Mhm.
But I'd rather help you or someone you know than some random off a zone.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good.
Where I gotta meet them at a house. Hopefully they're not gonna kill me in the house because I know nothing about them. Which, when we get to online leads, let's just talk about it now. That is not, and I'm not gonna bash on online leads. There's a space for them, but you have to prioritize them correctly.
Mhm.
If you're relying just on online leads, you gotta plant a lot of seeds that'll grow real quickly and die. And guess what? Most of those seeds are not gonna grow at all. That's like having a huge crop and you're getting like a 2% return. That's not a smart investment long term. It's good short term. It's the Atkins diet. But one of the new things you gotta be careful on, I'm seeing on online leads, and you gotta be careful how you talk. I'm not really the most politically correct person in the world, so I can give 2 shits, but women and some men, I guess it can relate to anyone, you have to be careful. There are some freaking crazies here. This is an online lead that can see your picture on these sites, and you're getting a random call by someone you don't know if they're legit, they want to meet you at a house that is vacant, that they may have staked out first, and you don't know what you're walking into. I freak out all the time with her.
Yeah.
I'm like, call me. We have this little thing on the Tesla app where I can see where she is, because I'm like, holy shit, my worst nightmare ever is someone sees a picture of her and goes, oh, pretty realtor,
Of course.
I'm gonna meet up.
You just
One of
don't know.
one of the added benefits of working with people you know or they
Or
know
Yeah.
is it's already,
Established.
that's taken
And
care
it
of.
can be fun. Yeah.
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 Like Vincentine, I love seeing them every time I go to my house. You know, I'm like, let's go get a drink.
Exactly.
You know.
And there's you can jump right over all the awkwardness
Right.
and the rapport and the trust. And even if, let's say Vincentina refer you a friend of theirs that you've never met, or maybe I played poker with them, they're like, oh, I met
They know
Dave.
them. Yeah.
It's
They know them.
already through connection,
Mhm.
you know them. Same thing with you.
Mhm.
If you work with Angie and Angie's friend is like, hey, work with them, you have a connection.
Yeah.
It changes
Already,
the game a
yeah.
little bit.
Agreed.
All right.
So much easier.
So number one, if we could stop at that, this should be your 80%. And this isn't like the 80-20 rule where you should only be spending 20% of your time and try to get 80% of your business. On this case, you should be spending 80% of your time on this one thing to get 80% of your business. This is what we just talked about with the long game.
Mhm.
Now we looked at your business at one point, and a couple of years ago it wasn't there, right?
No.
And
it's
now
like exceeded that now.
then we looked and you didn't think it was, and it was 80, and last year it was something ridiculous like 90-something%.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
With, I won't put her on the spot and tell you how much she made, but I will tell you how much in millions she sold. What was it, like 27 million? She sold.
What changes did you make?
I don't know. I think it was just more like getting that face to face and not, like, I didn't do anything like in particular. What?
It just magically happened. No, it became more about like friendships and relationships.
Yeah.
And the beauty of Angie is she's such a natural. It wasn't something that was
But
like,
I don't feel like.
you don't make a friend to get more business.
Right, it wasn't forced.
Of
and-
course.
No.
Yeah.
But the more friends that you have and the more things you do that you love, the more business you get. So people from the soccer team and from the school
Well,
and
yeah,
from
that's
working out and from our friends, from our network of friends who we care about, it just grows.
Yeah.
And then it becomes organic.
Yeah.
My father
There
perfected
it is.
this. He perfected it. He didn't even do it on purpose. I could not find more of a natural.
Uh-huh.
He had no CRM, no nothing, but he took care of people at the highest level and
He
cared.
still does.
He
Yeah,
cares at the
I
highest
agree with
level.
Yeah.
To the point it was a detriment to him. So you got to find balance on that
Yeah.
too. There's got to be a word no, and there's got to be a line and parameters, and you have to establish that, right?
Mhm.
That being said, I mean, he'd have people that referred him 30 clients.
Yeah.
But when they called him, he'd pick up the phone. And it wasn't just about real estate questions.
No. And he can sit and
Yeah.
bullshit with
Of
anyone,
course.
Yeah.
anytime.
Yeah.
All like he's the neighbor walking up and down the street that's literally hit never
Yes.
person outside, just because he wants to.
I can see that.
But not in an annoying way, like you're happy to see him.
No. Yeah.
So if you love him, or genuinely like him, or you think happy thoughts when his name comes up, you're more likely
Yeah.
to refer them. When people say people do business with people they know, like, and trust, and it's kind of like farming, kind of like a lot of things. You don't even think about it. Know is easy. You know them.
Mhm.
Trust them. Yeah. You did business with them. They delivered. But like changes the game.
Mhm.
It's undervalued.
Right.
How many times have you given business or worked with someone or taken care of someone when you know it wasn't gonna, maybe they weren't the best or whatever, just because you genuinely like them and you want to
Yeah.
help them out?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
You give them a break. Like, they're not, they're like maybe the 8th best out of 10.
You end up with a car you didn't even want because
Yeah.
like the salesman was so nice or you liked it.
And maybe
you know?
maybe the 9th and 10th guy are assholes. You know what I mean? Like, and you're like, I'm gonna go with the 8th guy because I like him and he's close enough.
Uh-huh.
Right? I don't want to put any money in that asshole's hand.
Yeah.
The 9th and 10th, right?
Yeah.
So again, I don't want to. I wish I could like put this in people's heads, and I didn't even come up with this. It's my father. Like I've watched this, and I think I'm a decent observant person
Mhm.
when it comes to that, and I've seen it over and over again. Okay, so number one, we got it under control.
Yep.
Number two is literally just doing work.
Mhm.
Okay. Door knocking, open houses, things like that. Now everyone's like, door knocking. I hate door knocking. I hate door knocking too. But if you do it correctly,
Mhm.
if you're coming with something of value and not a free CMA, cookies, something, you gotta and don't just do it randomly.
Mhm.
It's gotta be strategic. These things need to be done strategic. So if you're gonna do an open house, do it in your farm.
Yeah.
Do it in the place that you know that you want to do business and you care about the community and you know the community. If you're gonna door knock, you gotta have value for the people,
Mhm.
right? Like, hey, there's a Facebook page that I've created that's gonna give you a ton of information on events and restaurants and lifestyle in this community, and here's the Facebook handle, right?
Mhm.
Come with something real and come with something valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you gotta put in the work. Same thing with open houses. If you work Summerlin, only do open houses in the summer.
Mhm.
I appreciate you get a listing in Green Valley. Don't do an open house in Green Valley. Because you don't want to do all your business out there,
Yeah.
right?
Or have somebody that is in Green Valley and wants to do their business out there, do your open house.
Exactly. So the second is just work, which a lot of people are afraid to do or unwilling
Lazy.
to do. You know, all of the things we're going to talk about, or we have talked about, the thing they have in common is they all work. Even the people who commit tons of money and tons of time to online leads,
Mhm.
the ones that succeed are the ones that commit to it and work at
Well,
it
and it's
hard.
the consistency in every single
Yes.
lead,
Exactly.
right? Because if
It
you do
always
one
is.
open house, hear agents all the time. They're like, I did an open house and I didn't get a single person through.
Mhm.
Okay, were you gonna do another one this weekend? And are you gonna invite people and do something different that you didn't do last time? You know, I mean, from one open house I did, like 3 years ago. I had lunch, I put it on Facebook, I did all of the things I was supposed to do.
Uh-huh.
I sat there for 3 hours. I ended up getting 2 buyers
Yep.
from it. One ended up buying a 1.3 million. One ended up, well, actually both of them bought a 1.3 million.
Wow.
And then one sold a 700. And then I have a
Referral off of that.
referral from that. So I mean, it's been probably $4 million worth of real estate from one open
Incredible.
house. One.
And how about the agents that do open houses religiously every single weekend
Mhm.
and they get buyers, like all their business is buyers.
Yep. But you gotta do it right and you gotta be consistent
You
about
do.
it. Yeah.
And like you said with the door knocking, if they were regularly farming that neighborhood and had already put out a postcard, they've seen, you know, the neighbors have seen their face, probably, you know, got their phone numbers, maybe got a message from them or a
Yep.
text, whatever. So by the time you door knock, they probably know who you are.
It's a
you
more
know?
quality door knock.
Exactly.
It's almost like a pop by, which
Yeah.
is where you're leaving something, taking a picture of it and saying this is here for you.
You're a familiar face by then.
Yes.
You should be, or a voice,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's a direct, it's a strategized way of doing old school things.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That work.
And they all work. So back to the online leads, right? So the reason why I'm just not a fan of going all in on them is your return is a lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of liability, a lot of risk for a smaller return. But there are mega teams out there that are investing tons of money, tons of teams, and they're seeing lots of profit, which is great. That works. The first two things we talked about, I could rely on the person I trust the most.
Right.
Me.
But if
Me.
those teams, I agree, but if those teams are doing that, right, the smart thing would be to do, again, you need the consistency, you need the right follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
And then after you've built that relationship with those people, take those people and put them into that database and nurture
Yes,
them.
great point.
You know what I mean?
Great
Like,
point.
then you can, especially a new agent, like if you're like, I've just moved here, I have no database. Well, first off, get involved in some stuff, organizations,
Exactly.
different things, get in front of people. And then if you are buying online leads, take those leads, the people that you really connect with. I mean, half of them, if you don't connect with, delete, buy,
So
close. I hope you have a great
let's
life.
Yeah.
let's
The other
double
people
down
take care of it.
on that point you made, because I've been
Uh-huh.
meaning to make it and you made it very beautifully. So a lot of things are weight loss, right? So there's like, we used to be called the Atkins, now it's called keto, right?
Yeah.
So you can go on a crazy keto diet and lose a quick 20 pounds, right? You could do it.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be the most sustainable thing in the world, but if you use that 20 pounds as momentum
Mm-hmm.
to do the things you should have been doing already, which is basically exercising and eating healthier,
Mm-hmm.
right? Say, all right, this keto's not sustainable forever, but it's got momentum going. I lost 20 pounds. Now I'm going to eat a little bit better. Now I'm going to start moving a little bit more because I feel better. You could transition right into what you should have been doing, and you got the momentum that you needed. Same thing with, let's say, online leads or untraditional ways of getting business.
Mm-hmm.
You get that quick business, you invest, and then you transition into nurturing all your people,
Right.
Yeah.
right? So that makes perfect sense. Even open houses, you can't spend all your time in open houses. Eventually you're gonna get so busy with business that you're not gonna have time to be sitting 4 hours all the time. But if you're smart, you're plugging them into your database, so you're gonna be doing less open houses down the line.
Yeah.
Right.
And more nurturing your people.
Right.
Or you're building a team where you have people sitting in the open houses for you with your signs, things like that, so you could be two places at once.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, you could use, so I have we'll do a class for this. I've done it for Nest Agents a bunch of times. I haven't done it in a while. Where I basically have this funnel, this circle funnel.
Mm-hmm.
And you can stay in it the entire time, where your own leads and your own people just keep generating clients, closings, clients, closings, clients, closings. But there's a top part where the new leads are funneling in,
Mm-hmm.
right? So depending upon how much your sphere of influence is paying you, right?
Okay.
Sometimes you have to add in new people,
Right.
and that's where the non-traditional ways.
Right.
You get them into the system. Your new lead, you turn them into a client, you turn them into a closing, and then they come to client care, and they never leave that circle.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to continually keep putting people in,
Right.
because some people are going to drop out and whatnot. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
got the visual on that? Okay.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
All right, let's see what you've seen the visual. That was my little. I forgot what I named it.
I don't know, but you got it in a notebook or something.
I'm sure my millions of them. All right, so what you should be doing, we talked about it. You should be nurturing your people. You should be doing the work, and then you can add on the online leads and things like that. But the biggest takeaway is, and this is the next thing, what you shouldn't be doing is depending upon other systems for your success. So we're going to start doing some paid advertising on social media to get our message out more to the marketplace, right? We only have so much reach. So as much as I'm excited about that, it can never be my main thing. Because if Facebook changes an algorithm, I'm screwed,
Mm-hmm.
right? Zillow leads, Realtor.com leads, conversion, all these systems, great. Google ads, Facebook, all these things are great, but the minute they change their algorithm,
Mm-hmm.
or the government changes something, or the company changes something,
Yeah.
or the mergers or the purchase out or whatever, when that changes, your business model changes. And if you're all in on that, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
That's why there needs to be a secondary or tertiary way of doing business, and not tertiary. A third way. They said, talk at a 4th grade level, and here I am not
Hey
doing it.
Google.
Yeah.
Tertiary word.
You have to have it. I'm willing to bet it is. So what you should be doing is putting all your eggs in the basket of things that you can control,
Yes.
right?
Hey.
And lastly, have a real conversation, because your production doesn't lie. I don't give a shit about all the excuses or the reasons or whatnot. There's someone in a worse situation than you are that's doing 3 times as good as you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So have that conversation. Whose fault is it if you're successful?
You're on.
Whose fault of it
You're not. It's
if
your
you're not
own.
successful?
I know where you're going with this. Yeah, I was right.
Yes, that's exactly right. So put the mirror up and say, and look at your results. The best thing the first thing I always tell people to do is just write it down old school, all the people you've helped in the last 12 months, and then see where they came from. So basically measure your business. You'll be surprised. And then you'll figure out, you'll either see some like huge holes in it, like, wow, I'm paying for all my leads and my true cost of these leads is X. Or, wow, I didn't know I was getting 80% from my sphere, yet I'm spending so much money on other things. Maybe I should spend more time here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Get a true measurement of what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
And then you can start from there.
Yeah, I think that's the first place to start.
No?
Always.
That's all we got for you today. Any parting shots? Let's see, we got some updates. SIP happens at Green Valley today at 3:30, so if you want to get over to the Green Valley office. Tomorrow, which is Thursday, Build Your Brand Part 2, field trip at Richmond American, Sky Knoll. This Monday coming up, June 24th, we have CE class with our very own Larry Perna from Bridge. And our guest today is Ashley Remington with Lawyer's Title and her phone number and email. So if you're ready to do the work, and I'm going to put Ashley on the spot, don't waste your time.
And I wouldn't pay for any more online leads if you are, because we can get you the emails, the phone numbers with predictive analytics. We can figure out exactly who's most likely to buy and sell within your farms. So quit wasting your money. I'll help you guys. You know, we've got all the resources that you need, and my success is your success is mine. So we're here for you guys.
And what are you gonna do, sweetheart? You gonna double down on your people and have more meaning, more
Yes.
purpose?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like after this remodel and stuff, I feel like it took me out of the game a little bit, so now I need to get back in. But what I do love about the business mostly
Sure.
is that if you think in abundance, like the things that you could do are just endless, and it's like
So
exciting.
true.
It's like, oh my god, I could go and I could touch this many people, or I could go do this. If you look at all of these different things, or watch one video, or read one little thing, it's like you have a list of stuff to do, which I really get excited about.
And if you want to close the loop completely, you can start tracking back your best relationships or who you spend the most time with to what you do for a living.
Yeah.
I mean, my whole life it all goes back to real estate.
I know.
Right.
And see, that's I think the hardest thing I've had to deal with is that, you know, all of my like closest friends are from real estate at some point.
Mine too.
And I think that, you know, I've had this conversation with them a whole
The perception of shitty realtors
Yes.
in this horrible
and I'm
industry.
like, I don't even want to be that in your
Right.
eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want to think like I'm only talking, or I don't want to even be that role in your life. But yet, I think we all play a certain role in people's lives. And if I could be that person that like, look, you're not going to make a real estate decision unless you talk to me because you trust me and you trust my opinion.
Yeah.
That's all I can ask for.
Well, you reframe it. You're not like all the others. That's not the
Mhm.
point. And hopefully you're a friend that, you know what, you're not going to really, because it comes down, you're not just asking me about a real estate decision.
Yeah,
You trust me about asking me about a life decision.
totally.
That's what it comes back to. I mean, if you're doing this right, you're not giving them advice about real estate. You're giving them advice about life. And
Totally.
they trust you and love you and respect you enough as an individual, not as a, you know, two-bit realtor,
Right.
that they're going to trust you. And it shows in your friendships and what, like, things like that. And if you put that abundance around it, that's a great word for it.
Mm-hmm.
I can link changes in my life, the relationship with my father, marrying you, we met through real estate,
Mm-hmm.
becoming a leader, going through that, and like really stepping into leadership and finding my own
Mhm.
voice with that journey through the association. And you can link it all back, and once you link it to that higher purpose, you just look at it and be like, you know what, this is fun, I want to do more of it, I want to help more people. And
Yeah.
you reframe and change the whole game, and you go into it with a different perspective. And then you
Totally.
win.
Beautiful thing.
All right,
Yeah.
that's all we got for you today.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.